Hello and welcome to this video. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the Cambridge IGCSE Mathematics Paper 2 Extended of May-June 2021. So straight away, let's get to the first question. So the first question says, the probability that Jane wins a game is 7 out of 10. Find the probability that Jane does not win the game. So the probability of winning plus the probability of not winning should give you 1. So that means to get the probability that Jane does not win, we need to take away the probability of winning, which is 7 out of 10, from 1, which gives us 3 out of 10. Then part B of the question says, Jane plays this game 50 times. Find the number of times she is expected to win this game. So what we need to do, for one game, the probability of winning is 7 out of 10. So we need to multiply that by the number of times that she plays, which is 50. And when we work that out, we're supposed to get 35 times. Then question 2, calculate the fourth root of 0.0256. So using your calculator, the fourth root of 0.0256 is equal to 0.4. Then let's go to question number 3. So Emma has 15 mathematics questions to complete. The stem and leaf diagram shows the time in minutes it takes her to complete each question. So you can see the stem and leaf diagram. So we need to complete the table. We need to find the mode, the median, and the range. So let's start with the mode. So the mode is the number that is repeated the highest number of times. So as you can see, it's the 6, but then when you look at the key, it says that when you have 2 then /0, that's 20. So that means we have to take the 1 also. So that means the mode is going to be 16. Then the median is the number that lies exactly at the middle. So to get the number that lies exactly at the middle, what we do is n plus 1 and then we divide by 2. So n is the number of questions for this case, which is 15. So 15 plus 1, which is 16, divided by 2 is 8. So we are looking for the number that is at the 8th position. So if we start counting from here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the number at the 8th position is going to be 11. So the median is 11. Then the range is the difference between the highest number and the lowest number. So the highest number here is 20 and the lowest number is 3, that is 0.3. So when you subtract 3 from 20, you get 17. So the range is 17 minutes. So let's move on to question number 4. So question number 4 says, write an expression for the range of k consecutive integers. So if I write some integers, let's say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so how many are these? So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 integers. So what is the range of these 5 integers? So as we have said in the previous question, range means the difference between the highest and the lowest values. So here the highest value is 6 and the lowest value is 2, meaning the range is 4. Then let's look at another group of consecutive integers. We can say 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So how many are they? So they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 integers. And what is the range? So the range is the highest, which is 15, minus 10, which is the lowest. So the range is equal to 5. So what pattern or what trend can you see? So the range each time is 1 less than the number of integers. So here the range is 4 and the number of integers is 5. So the range is 1 less than the number of integers, and same case to here. So that means if we have a number of integers, k, so k represents the number of integers, so to get the range we just need to subtract 1. So that is the expression for the range of k consecutive integers. So k take away 1, k take away 1. Then let's move on to the next question, which is question number 5. So question number 5 says, Henrik draws this scatter diagram. So put a ring around one correct statement about this scatter diagram. So when you look at this scatter diagram, it has 3 points. Which seem to be forming a negative correlation, but then they are not really enough points to tell whether it's actually a negative correlation. So the correct answer here should be, it is not possible to tell if there is correlation, as there are not enough points. So for it to be a negative correlation, maybe if we would have maybe 2 more points, maybe one there and another one there, then that would qualify to be a negative correlation. But now these 3 points, they are not really enough, they're just a few, so we can't really tell whether it's a negative correlation. So the correct answer is that it is not possible to tell if there is any correlation, as the points are not enough. Then part B of the same question says, each of the 4 scatter diagrams shows the same set of data. A line has been drawn on each diagram. So you can see all the diagrams, diagram A, B, C, and D. Then complete the statement. The line in diagram dash is the most appropriate line of best fit. So a line of best fit has to cut through a majority of the points. So first we're going to eliminate diagram B, because the line does not even correspond to the points. Then when you look at diagram A, majority of the points are on the upper side, so we're going to eliminate that also. Then when you look at D, the same case, all the points actually are on the upper side of the line, so we're also going to eliminate D. So the correct one is diagram C. So the line in diagram C is the most appropriate line of best fit. Okay, then we can now proceed to the next question. The next question is question number 6. So a rhombus has side length 6.5 centimeters. The rhombus can be constructed by drawing 2 triangles. So using a ruler and compasses only, construct the rhombus. Then we leave in your construction axe. One diagonal of the rhombus has been drawn for you. So what we need to do, we need to draw a rhombus, and we're only going to use a ruler and a protractor. So the first thing that you need to do is to measure 6.5 centimeters. So you open your pair of compasses, 6.5 centimeters. Then you place the tip of your compass at this point. Then you mark an arc up there and another one down there. So the tip of your compass is at the tip of the line. Then you go to this other end of the line. You place the tip of the compass there. You mark another arc there and another one there. So then what you just need to do is to join this using a straight line. Then you also join this using a straight line, and this one, using a straight line, so it should be a straight line, this one, and then you join this one using a straight line like that. So and don't rub off the arcs after you draw the rhombus. So that's all for that question. So we can now proceed to the next question, which is question number 7. So for question number 7, complete these statements. The reciprocal of 0.2 is, so 0.2 we can first write it as a fraction. So 0.2 is 2 out of 10. So reciprocal means we are going to interchange the position of 10 and 2. So 10 becomes the numerator and 2 becomes the denominator. So 10 divided by 2, or 10 over 2, is the same as 5. So the reciprocal of 0.2 is equal to 5. Then a prime number between 90 and 100 is 97. 97. So 97 is actually the only prime number between 90 and 100. Then question B, you can see we have some numbers. So from that list, write down an irrational number. So an irrational number is a number that cannot be expressed as a fraction. So 7 out of 5 is already a fraction. Then 0.6 can be expressed as a fraction. 8 can be expressed as a fraction, which is 8 over 1. Then the root of 9, which is 3, can also be expressed as a fraction, which is 3 over 1. So the only number which cannot be expressed as a fraction is the root of 7. The square root of 7 is an irrational number. Then let's move on to question number 8. So for question number 8, you can see that equation. Then we are told to find B when A is 5.625 and C is equal to 2. So we just need to substitute those values into the formula. So A is 5.625. 5.625 is equal to B squared over 5C. So 5C means 5 times C, and C is 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. So once we get to that point, to find B squared, so we just need to multiply 5.625. So B squared is 5.625 times 10. So when we multiply by 10, B squared is going to be 56.25. Then to find B, we just need to find the square root of 56.25. So when you use a calculator to find the square root of 56.25, that's going to be equal to 7.5. So B is equal to 7.5. Then let's move on to question number 9. So without using a calculator, work out 2/3. So 2/3 divided by 1 and 3 out of 7. So the first thing, we need to change the mixed number into an improper fraction. So that's going to be 2/3 divided by, so 1 times 7 is 7, plus 3 is 10. So divided by 10 out of 7. Then we can change the sign to multiplication. So it's going to be 2/3 times 7 out of 10. So when we work that out, so 2 times 7 is 14 and 3 times 10 is 30. Then we can simplify that. So we can divide by 2, which gives us 7, and we can divide by 2, which gives us 15. So the answer is going to be 7 out of 15. Okay, then we can move on to the next question. Question number 10. So write 0.0654 in standard form. So to write a number in standard form, the number has to be between 1 and 10. So we need to place, or we need to put the decimal point between 6 and 5, so that we have 6.54, and then times, we count the number of decimal places that we have skipped from where the decimal point is up to where it's going to be, that is between 6 and 5. So that's 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be to the power of negative 3. 6.54 times 10 to the power of negative 3. Then question B, the number 1.467 times 10 to the power of 102 is, so let me write it here, 1.467 times 10 to the power of 102 is written as an ordinary number. Write down the number of zeros that follow the digit 7. So here we have to subtract 3 zeros, because for the decimal point to move from here, it has to go 1, 2, 3. So then you can now start adding the zeros. So you have to subtract 3 from 102. That's going to be 99. So the number of zeros that you would write after the 7 would be 99 zeros. Then let's move on to question number 11. So write 0.04 recurring as a fraction in its simplest form. So 0.04 with the dots above the 0 and the 4, it means that the 0 and the 4 are recurring. So what we need to do, if we let this be n, we can multiply by 100, n by 100, which is 100n, and here it means we're going to move the decimal points 2 places to the right, so that's going to be 4.0404. Then what we need to do, let me write them here. So we need to subtract, so 100n, which is equal to 4.0404. We need to subtract n, which is 0.0404. So when you subtract that, you get 99n is equal to 4. Then to get n, you just divide both sides by 99, and that means n is going to be equal to 4 out of 99. Okay, so question 12. So the universal set consists of integers greater than 2. So this is the universal set. That's how we write it. So the universal set consists of integers greater than 2. So if we can write a few of those integers, so greater than 2, so we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. Then we have set A, which consists of prime numbers. So prime numbers, we have greater than 2, so we have 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, and so on. Then odd numbers, we have 3, we have 5, we have 7, we have 9, 11, and so on. Square numbers, we have 4, we have 9, we have 16, we have 25. So the first question says, describe the type of numbers, so let me clear this so that we can see properly. So the square numbers, let me write them here. So the square numbers, we have 4, 9, 16, 25, and so on. So describe the type of numbers in the set B complement intersection C. B complement intersection C. So what do we mean by B complement? So B complement is the numbers which do not belong to B. B complement means that do not belong to B. So let's see. So B consists of odd numbers. So that means complement of B are even numbers, because if set B consists of odd numbers, it means complement of B is numbers which are not odd, and numbers which are not odd are even. Then intersection C. So intersection C means also in C. So numbers which are not odd and are also in C. So numbers which are odd, not odd, are even numbers, and numbers which are in set C are square numbers. So these are even numbers which are square numbers also. So even numbers which are also square numbers. They are even numbers which are also square numbers, or you can put that in your own words, but I hope you understand that. And by the way, before we continue, if you like this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up and also subscribe to this channel for more videos in future. Then let's go to the second question. So the second question says, complete the set labels on the Venn diagram. So we want to name those sets. So we know that set A consists of prime numbers, set B consists of odd numbers, and set C consists of square numbers. But when you look at the diagram, you can see there is a small set that is inside another big set. So which is that small set? What do you think? So the small set is actually the set of prime numbers, because prime numbers which are greater than 2 are also odd numbers. So they can be incorporated in the bigger set, which is the odd numbers. So the bigger set is going to be set B, which is for odd numbers, and then the smaller set is going to be set A, which is prime numbers. And then of course set C, which is the square numbers, is going to be this one, set C, like that. Then let's go to question B. So question B says, shade the region D complement union of E intersection F complement. So don't be scared away by all those terminologies. So I'm going to explain to you what that means. So we're going to start with D complement. So D complement means not in D or outside D. So if we can shade that region first, if we can shade that region which is outside D, so it's going to be the whole of this. So let's shade the whole of this, which is D complement, meaning not in D. Not in D. So we shade the whole of this. So we're going to do it step by step. So let's start by shading the complement of D. So the complement of D is the whole of this, the whole of this. So then we have E intersection F complement. E intersection F complement. So first let's identify the region E intersection F. So the region E intersection F is the region that is at the intersection of E and F. Yeah, so this region, let me mark it. So this region here the one I have marked with an X, is the region E intersection F, but we're not interested in that region. We are interested in the complement of that. So complement, as we said, means everything that is not in that section. Everything else that is not in that part is what is referred to as the complement of E intersection F. So we're going to shed everything else that is not in that section. So that means I'm going to shed the whole of this, Since I had already shaded this, I'm not going to shade it again. So you can see we are being left with a very small part there at the center. So that part is the one that is going to remain unshaded. So all this that we have shaded is the region D complement, union of the intersection of E and F complement. So the whole of that, the whole of what we have shaded is the region that we are interested in. So you can see there is just a very small part that is left at the center, which is not shaded. Okay, so I think that's okay. If you have any questions, you can just ask them on the comment section and I'll be able to respond. Or any clarification that you need, you can leave a comment and I'll be ready to respond to all your questions. Then let's move on to the next question, which is question number 13. So question number 13, we are told that this diagram is not drawn to scale. Then A, B, and C are points on a circle, so you can see them, A, B, and C. Then the center of the circle is O. Then DA and DC are tangents, so you can see DA and DC. And the angle ADC is 44 degrees. So you can see ADC is 44. So work out the value of X. Work out the value of X. Now, the first thing that we're going to do, since we are told that AD and DC are tangents, we know that these tangents are equal. They are equal. So that means if we divide this into two, we are going to get two right-angled triangles. And how do we know that they are right-angled triangles? Because the angle formed by the tangent and the radius is always 90 degrees. So this angle is 90 degrees and this one is also 90 degrees. The angle formed by the tangent and the radius of the circle is always 90 degrees. And again, since these two triangles are equal, this angle is going to be divided into two. So 44 divided by 2 is going to be 22 and 22. So since these are right angled triangles, it means this angle is going to be equal to 68, because 68 plus 22 should be equal to 90 degrees. And this one also is going to be 68 degrees. So the whole of this angle is going to be 136 degrees. So the whole of this angle, let me clear this. So the whole of this angle is going to be 136 degrees. Now, if we join A to C, like that, so we're going to have a chord. So AC is a chord. Now, a chord, or the angle that is subtended by a chord at the center of the circle, which is 136, is usually double the size of the angle which is subtended by the same chord on the circumference, which is x. So you can see this angle x and angle 136, both of them are subtended by the same chord, which is called AC. So the angle at the circumference is half the angle at the center. So you just need to divide 136 by 2, which is equal to 68 degrees. So the size of angle X is 68 degrees. Okay, then let's move on to the next question, which is question number 14. So question number 14, so you can see it's a trapezium. So the diagram shows a trapezium. The trapezium above has one line of symmetry. Work out the area of the trapezium. So to work out the area of the trapezium, we need the length of the two sides which are parallel to each other. So this side is 15.4. Then from here up to, so if I can drop another line like this. So up to this point, this is 15.4. So we need to get the length of the missing parts. So how are we going to get the length of X? So we are going to use trigonometric ratios. As you can see, this is a right angled triangle. So what you're going to do, we're going to use tan. So the ratio tan. So the tangent or the tan of 62 is equal to the opposite, which is 18.2, divided by the adjacent, which is X. So to get the value of X, so X, what we need to do is that we need to divide 18.2 by the tangent or the tan of 62. And when you work that out using your calculator, what you get is 9. So X is 9.677. So this part here is 9.677, and this one also is 9.677. So the length of the entire line is going to be 9.677 plus 9.677 plus 15.4. So that's going to be 34.754. So that is the length of one side. Then to find the area of a trapezium, we need to use the formula a half multiplied by the sum of the two lines which are parallel to each other. So 15.4 plus 34.754, and then we multiply that by the perpendicular height, which is 18.2 centimeters. So when you work that out, so 15.4 plus 34.754, that's 50.154. So this is 0.5, which is a half, times 50.154, then times 18.2. So when you multiply that, what you get is 456.40 centimeters squared. So that is the area of the trapezium. Okay, so we can now move on to the next question. So question 15, complete the table showing information about the congruence of pairs of triangles. The first two rows have been completed for you. Okay, so as you can see, the first two rows are completed. The first row, these triangles are congruent. So what we mean by congruent is that the two triangles are mirror images of each other. So if you were to draw or to place a mirror at this point, one triangle would be a reflection of the other triangle. So that's what we mean by congruence. So as you can see, they are congruent, and the congruence criterion is that there are two angles and one side, 2 angles and 1 side. Then when you look at the second one, here there is no congruence because these triangles are not mirror images of each other. Now when we go to the third pair, so if you try and flip this triangle, the second triangle, and then try to place it on top of this one, you would see that it would lie perfectly on the other triangle, or in other words, it is a mirror image of the other triangle. And how do we know? We know because so first you have to flip this one. So you flip it, so this side 7 would lie on this one, then this side 6.5 would lie on this one, and this side the angle 35 would lie on the other 35. So that means they are congruent. So you just need to write here that they are congruent. And the congruence criterion is that there are 2 sides and 1 angle. So 2 sides and 1 angle, like that. That's the congruence criterion. Then let's move on to the other one. So for the other pair, again, if you try and flip this around and then you try to place it on top of the other one, you would realize that the 4.5 would lie on the 4.5, the 4 would lie on the other 4, and then the 5 would lie on the other 5. So that means they are congruent. They are congruent. And the congruence criterion, so you write here that they are congruent, and the congruence criterion is that we are using the 3 sides, so it's SSS. SSS. That's the congruence criterion. Then the last pair, so again, if we try and flip this and then we place it on top of the other triangle, so the side this 5.2 would lie on the 5.2, then the angle, this angle would be here, this angle 65 would be here. So we need to ask ourselves, is this angle supposed to be 65? So when you subtract 35 from 90, you get 55. So this angle should be 55, not 65. So that means that these 2 triangles are not congruent. So they are not congruent. And where you have the criterion, you can just write none. So that's all about that question. Again, let me remind you that if you have any question, you can let me know on the comments section. Then let's move on to the next question, which is question number 16. So A is the point 5, 7, and B is the point 9, -1. So find the length AB. So to find the length AB, we need to find first the difference between the coordinates, the x coordinate and the y coordinate. So we can just subtract 5, 7 and 9 minus 1. So you subtract each coordinate separately. So this is going to be equal to, so 5 take away 9 is -4. Then 7 take away -1, that will be 8. So then what you do, we're going to use this formula, which comes from the Pythagoras theorem, which is the square root of x squared plus y squared, because finding the length AB, it's like finding the hypotenuse of that triangle. So what we do, we square -4, we add that to 8 squared, and then we find the square root. So when you work that out, it's going to be equal to the square root of 80, which is equal to 8.944 centimeters. So that is the length of line AB. Then question B. So let me first clear this so that we can have enough space. Okay, so question B says, find the equation of the line AB. So to find the equation, one thing that we have to find is the gradient or the slope of the line. So to find the gradient, we're just going to use what we have done in question A. So the gradient, you have to divide the change in y by the change in x. So the change in y was 8. That is the difference between the y coordinates. You divide that by the change, that was the change in y. You divide that by the change in x, which is -4. So when you work that out, the gradient is going to be -2. So then to find the gradient, the equation of a line, so remember the equation of a line is usually in the form y is equal to mx plus c. So m is the gradient, which we already have, and c is the y-intercept. Y-intercept means the value of y at the point where the line cuts the y-axis. So we have to find that. So to find that, we're going to use one of the 2 points that we have. So we have 0.57 and 9, -1. Let's use 0.57. So we're going to substitute x with 5 and y with 7 in this equation. So 7 instead of y is equal to mx. So we've said m is the gradient, which is -2, times the x coordinate. So 5 times -2 is going to be -10, then plus c. Then we can solve for c by adding 10 to both sides of the equation. So that means c is going to be equal to 17. So once we have the value of c as 17, we can now write the equation as y is equal to m, which is -2x, plus c, which is 17. So that is the equation of the line AB. And then let's go to question 17. So question 17 says, find the gradient of the line that is perpendicular to the line 3y is equal to 4x plus 5. So 3y is equal to 4x plus 5. So first you have to make sure that the line is in the form y is equal to mx plus c. So instead of having 3y, we should only have y. So we have to divide each term by 3, which gives us y is equal to 4 out of 3x plus 5 out of 3. Then from what we have said in the previous question, m, which is this one, is the gradient of this line. So the gradient of this line is 4 out of 3. So to find the gradient of the line that is perpendicular to this line, we need to remember that for two lines to be perpendicular to each other, the product of their gradients is equal to -1. That is, if you multiply 4/3 by m, which is the gradient of the other line, we're supposed to get -1. So you need to ask yourself, what number can you multiply by 4/3 to give you -1? So you can decide to multiply by the reciprocal on both sides, so times 3 out of 4, and m is going to be -3/4. -3/4 is going to be the gradient of the line that is perpendicular to this line. Okay, so that's all for that question. Then let's move on to question number 18. So this question is about functions. So you can see we have the function f of x is equal to x squared minus 25, and then g of x is equal to x plus 4. So we are required to solve the function g of x plus 1, f of g of x plus 1 is equal to g of fx. So first we need to find the following. We need to find the function g of x. So let's start by finding the function g of x. g of x plus 1. G of x plus 1. So this means that where you have the function g of x, we're going to substitute x with x plus 1. So we're going to have x plus 1. So that is, we have replaced the x with x plus 1, and then there was a plus 4. So that means g of x plus 1 is going to be x plus 5. But that is not all, because here we were finding f of gx plus 1. So we now have g of x plus 1. So we are now going to substitute g of x plus 1 into f of x, so that we can get the function f of gx plus 1. So in the function f of x, we're going to replace x squared with x plus 5 squared, and then minus 25, like that. So we need to simplify this. So x plus 5 squared, when you square x plus 5, what you're going to have is x squared plus 10x plus 25. Okay, then here we also have a minus 25, so minus 25. So that means these two are going to cancel out, and we're left with x squared plus 10. So that is the function. So I'm sorry, we have gone out of the space provided. So let me divide this into 2. So we have the function f of gx plus 1, which is x squared plus 10. Then we need to find the function g of fx. So g of fx means that we are going to substitute the function f of x into g of x. So where we have x, we are going to replace it with x squared minus 25. So x squared minus 25, and then plus 4. Remember, there's a plus 4. So that's going to give us x squared minus 21. So this is the function. Okay, so this is the function g of fx, and this is the function f of gx plus 1. So we need to equate the two. So x squared plus 10, sorry, this should be x squared plus 10x. I forgot to include the x. So it's 10x squared plus 10x is equal to x squared minus 21. So here we can cancel the x squared and the x squared, and we are left with 10x is equal to minus 21. So to get the value of x, we just need to divide both sides by 10, and x is going to be equal to minus 2.1. Minus 2.1. So that is the value of x for that question. Then we can move on to question number 19. So question number 19a, you can see this diagram, which is made from an equilateral triangle ABC. So you can see ABC is an equilateral triangle. So an equilateral triangle means that all the three angles are equal, and each one of them is 60 degrees. Then and a sector of a circle. Then points B and C lie on the circle center A. Now, the side length of the equilateral triangle is 12.4 centimeters. Work out the perimeter of the shape. So to find the perimeter of this shape, the first thing that we're going to need is the arc length from this point B all the way this way, up to this point. So it's a major arc. It's a major arc. So to find the arc length, number one, we need the size of the major angle, the angle from the bigger sector. So since this was 60 degrees, So we need to subtract 60 degrees from 360. That means this is going to be 300 degrees. Okay, 300 degrees. So first we need to find the arc length. So to find the arc length, we just need to have 300 out of 360. We multiply by 2 pi r. So 2 times pi times the radius. Now what's going to be the radius? So since this is an equilateral triangle, the radius, which is AC, is also 12.4 centimeters. 12.4 centimeters. So you need to work this out using a calculator. So 300 times 2 times pi times 12.4, and then okay, so that gives us 7,440 pi, and then you have to divide that by 360. So when you divide by 360, what you get is 64.926 centimeters. But we are not done, because to find the perimeter of the entire shape, we have to add this length BC. So the length BC is 12.4 centimeters. So you just need to add 12.4 centimeters. So that gives us 76.33 centimeters. So that is the perimeter of that shape. Okay, then let's go to question B. So question B, we have a circle, and this circle has two sectors. So as you can see, the two sectors, there is the minor sector and the major sector. So the area of the major sector is 74.5 centimeters squared. So calculate the radius of the circle. So first, let me clear this so that we can have enough space. So you need to ask yourself, how was that area, which is 74.5 centimeters squared, found? So to work out the area of a sector, we need to multiply the fraction, which is the size of the angle, divided by 360. We multiply by pi r squared. So what is the size of the major, the angle of the major sector? So we need to subtract 41 from 360 degrees, which is going to give us, so 360, we take away 41, that gives us 319 degrees. So that is the size of the angle, 319 degrees. So so we need to substitute that into the formula. So we have 319 degrees out of 360. We multiply by pi, and then we multiply by the square of the radius. So the square of the radius is, so we're just going to write r squared, because we are finding the value of the radius. So here you can decide to do it this way. So you can decide to multiply 319 by pi using your calculator. So it's going to be 319 pi, and then you divide that by 360. So that's going to give you, so there are many ways of going about it, so this is just one of them. So we have multiplied 319 by pi, and then we divide that by 360. That gives us 2.6 7838 r squared. So you need to equate that with the area of the sector, which was 74.5. So to get r squared, you need to divide both sides by 2.7838 by 2.7838. So r squared is going to be equal to, so we need to divide 74 by 2.7838, which gives us 26.582, but that is the square of the radius. So to get the radius, we just need to find the square root. So it's going to be the square root of 26.582, which is equal to 5.15. So it's going to be, okay, let me write it here. So unfortunately I don't have enough space, so 5.16 centimeters. So that is the radius of the circle. So I hope you understood that. Again, let me remind you, if you have a question, you just need to ask on the comment section, and I'll be ready to respond to all your questions. So we can now move on to question number 20. So question number 20, expand and simplify. So first we can multiply the first two. Okay, let me divide this. So we can first multiply x take away 2 and 2x plus 5. So what you just need to do is to multiply x times 2, that will be, x times 2x, that will be 2x squared. Then x times 5, that's plus 5x. Then minus 2 times 2x, that's minus 4x. And then minus 2 times 5, that's minus 10. So when we simplify the like terms, so it's going to be 2x squared, 5x minus 4x, that's just x, then minus 10. So once we have that, we can now multiply by the last bracket, which is x plus 3. So what you just need to do, you just need to multiply x by 2x squared, which is 2x cubed. Then x times x, that's x squared, so plus x squared. And then 3 times x, okay, let me clear this. So we have to multiply by each term. So x times minus 10, that would be minus 10x. And then we have to multiply the 3 and 2x squared, that will be 6x squared, so plus 6x squared. And then 3 times x, that's plus 3x. And then 3 times minus 10 is minus 30. Then we have to collect the like terms together. So we have x squared plus 6x squared, that gives us 7x squared. So it's going to be 2x cubed plus 7x squared, then minus 10x plus 3x, that's minus 7x, and then minus 30. So when you expand and simplify that expression, this is the answer that we get. Then we can now move on to question number 21. So question number 21. So let me clear this. So we have the force of attraction, F newtons, between two magnets is inversely proportional to the square of the distance d between the magnets. So let's first write that that equation. So the force of attraction F is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So inverse proportionality, we write it as 1 over the square of the distance, d centimeters. Then what we just need to do is to introduce a constant. So when we introduce a constant, the equation is going to be f is equal to, so k over, or k divided by d squared, k divided by d squared. Then we need to find the value of k. So when d is 1.5, f is equal to 48. So we just need to substitute those values into the equation for us to get the constant. So f, when f is 48, so it's going to be k over d squared. So d is 1.5, so 1.5 squared is 2.25. So to get k, we just need to multiply 48 by 2.25, which is going to give us 108. So that's the value of k. So we just need to write the expression as, so k, f is equal to k, so now we have the value of k, so we just need to write 108. So it's going to be 108 over d squared. So that is the expression for f in terms of d. Then we can move on to question B. So question B says, when the distance between the two magnets is doubled, the new force N, is N times the original force. So work out the value of N. So when the distance is doubled, so originally it was D, so D centimeters. So when you double it, it's going to be 2D. So if we write the new equation again, it's going to be F, or force, is equal to 108 divided by d squared. So instead of d, we're going to replace it with 2d because the distance has been doubled, but still it's squared. So when we simplify this, it's going to be f is equal to 108 divided by 4d squared. So what we are going to do, we're going to ask ourselves, what can we factor out so that the equation is still going to remain? So we need to have 108 over d squared. So what can we factor out? So we can factor out 1/4. We can factor out 1/4, so that if we were to multiply 1/4 by 108 over d squared, this is what we would get. So in other words, the value of n is supposed to be 1/4. 1/4. Okay, so that's how you're supposed to go about that question. Then let's move on to question number 22. So for question number 22, we need to simplify. So let's start with the numerator. So on the numerator, we have 2x squared minus 5x minus 12. So we're going to solve to simplify this by factorization. So we need to find two numbers. These two numbers are supposed to give us a sum of -5. So the coefficient of x represents the sum, a sum of -5, and a product of 2 times -12, which is -24. So we need to ask ourselves, which numbers can we add to give you -5 and multiply to give you -24? So those two numbers are -8 and 3. -8 and 3. Then what we just need to do is to rewrite the middle term. Okay, so we rewrite the middle term using the two numbers that we have found. So it's going to be 2x squared minus 8x then plus 3x minus 12. So what we have done is just to rewrite the middle term, which was -5x, as -8x plus 3x. Then once we get to this point, what we normally do is that we're going to group them into two brackets like this. Then we're going to factorize each bracket separately. We identify the common factor. So from the first bracket, the common factor is 2x. So we're going to factor it out. So when you factorize 2x, here we're going to be left with x, and here it's x minus 4. Then in the second bracket, we should also have x minus 4. And then you just need to ask yourself, what can you multiply by this bracket to give you 3x minus 12? So you can multiply by plus 3. Then you just need to group them as 2x plus 3 and x minus 4. So that is the numerator. Then for the denominator, so let me clear this so that we can have some space. So we have 3x squared minus 12x. So we can factor out 3x. So when we factor out 3x, it's going to be x minus 4. So then we can write it down here. So 3x, then x minus 4. Then what do we do at that point? So at this point, we can cancel the x minus 4 and x minus 4. So that means we shall be left with the answer as 2x plus 3 over 3x. So we cannot simplify it anymore. So we just leave it at that. Okay, then we can move on to the next question, which is question number 23. So for question number 23, so let me clear this. So for question number 23, find all the solutions of 4 sine x is equal to 3 for the range 0 to 360. So 4 sine x is equal to 3. So the first thing that we need to do is to divide both sides by 4, so that we have sine x is equal to 3 divided by 4, which is 0.75. So you need to use your calculator to work out the size of the angle that has a sine of 0.75. So you just need to find the inverse of sine 0.75, which is supposed to give you 48. So x is 48.6 degrees. But then between 0 and 360, there's always another angle that has the same sine. So that angle is usually between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. So to do that, you just need to subtract 48.6 from 180 degrees. So 48.6. So when you work that out, so what you get is 131. So 131.4 degrees and 48.6 degrees. So those are the two angles that have a sine of 0.75 for the range 0 to 360 degrees. Then finally, question number 24. So question number 24, this is algebraic fractions. So for this question, we're going to work it out just like you would do with any other fraction. So the first thing that you need to do is to find a common denominator. So a common denominator, we just need to multiply these two. So x plus 1 and x plus 9. Like that. Then what you do at that point, you're going to multiply 1 by x plus 9, which is just going to be x plus 9, and then plus 9 times x plus 1, okay, which is 9x plus 9, and this should be equal to 1. So once you get to that point, you just need to cross multiply again. First we can expand this. So let's first expand this. So x plus 1 times x plus 9. Okay, so x times x is x squared, x times 9 is 9x, then 1 times x is x, and 1 times 9 is 9. So that's x squared plus 10x plus 9. Okay, so we can replace this. So let me clear this. We can replace this with x squared plus 10x plus 9. So once you get to that point, we just need to cross multiply. So you multiply this by 1, which will just remain as x squared plus 10x plus 9, okay, is equal to this one. So we can also simplify this one. So we have 9 plus 9, which is 18, and then x plus 9x, which is 10. So that's 10x plus 18, like that. Then we just need to let this quadratic equation have 0 on one side. So we just need to take away the 10x from this side to this side, so that so you can take away 10x from both sides, and also the 18, we take away 18 from both sides. So this would be x squared, so 10x minus 10x would be 0, and then 9 minus 18 would be negative 9, is equal to 0. So this is the difference of two squares, and when you factorize it, it's supposed to be x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 3. It should be equal to 0. So that means x can be equal to minus 3, or x can be equal to 3. And that marks the end of this paper. So again, if you have any questions or any mistake that you may have identified, you need to let me know on the comment section. And if you find this video helpful, please consider subscribing and sharing this video with your classmates and your teachers also. And let's meet in the next video. Goodbye.